Hi, good morning. My name is Christy Cato, and I'm so thankful that you took time to join us today. We've got some really exciting things to share with you, and we will jump right into it. We are recording this session, so you will have the opportunity to go back if you miss anything. In addition, we will have some time for questions at in between the sessions and definitely at the end of the session. So our speakers for today, of course, me, I'm Christy Cato. I've been with Avenue for a number of years, I think 20 plus. And then as each person goes into their section, they will do a brief introduction of themselves. But for the most part, I believe that most of you already know and have interacted with, everyone, each individual that you see on the screen today. Today, we're going to cover a lot of different things. We're primarily talking about the tax administration service, current highlights, things that we have enhanced recently, and we're very excited about some things that are coming. We're going to provide some information, overview, walkthrough, a lot of the audit reports, and we're going to talk about payment solutions. And we're doing a deep dive into a demo for the business license online application, as well as the government services center. I believe most of you know about Avenue, but just we'll briefly touch on this. As you'll see, all of the blue dots represents all of our clients throughout, the U.S., Canada, and other countries. The red dots are our headquarters. I'm actually headquartered in the Birmingham, Alabama office. Several of our speakers today are headquartered in Birmingham, Alabama, and we have some others that are in the Southeast area. We have over 200 years of combined experience with Alabama Tax Administration auditing, and we've been in business, over 40 years. This division absolutely got its start here in Alabama. That's where our roots are. We kind of joke, if you drive through the state of Alabama, there's a taxing, activity that takes place. You're going to need a license or pay sales tax, occupational tax, or something. So it's just a little bit of a joke, but it's actually sort of true. So that, our experience here allowed us to actually go out and offer very similar services in other states and markets. Just covering this again, we have over 700 administration clients nationwide. What really makes this a simplified process, we believe if you make things convenient, simple, easy, taxpayers are more likely to comply. If something's easy to do, they're not going to procrastinate. If it's, simple, they're going to do it first versus, some things that can be complicated. You'll put it off to the end of the day, the end of the week, or the end of the month. So we have one payment portal for businesses. They can file for multiple jurisdictions. In many, many cases, they can use the same portal for multiple states. We will process and collect almost $2 billion this year in 2024. We do take a strong governance process over any projects that we're implementing with project management. And typically, our implementations can be within 90 days. Some are 120 days, but if it is a standard, it kind of fits and it's configurable, then it can definitely be within 90 days. You can go to the next. Here, I'm just going to quickly go over an overview of things that we do because we really want to spend time on what's coming. I think you kind of know the services we provide. If you're using the Government Services Center, you are familiar with that tool. If you're not, I definitely encourage you to reach out, schedule some in-depth training, get more information, get your username and password, because it's a very powerful tool. And there's lots of new features that are coming in 2024. And that's what we're excited to tell you about today. In just a minute, we're going to go through the roadmap of items that have currently been released or have recently been released or are scheduled for a release soon. The things that are coming in Q2 24, Q3 and Q4, and definitely a lot of things that are taking place ahead of 2025 business license renewals. So quickly, if we are your administrator, if it's for business license, sales tax, occupational tax, hotel occupancy taxes, we can do as little or as much for you as you would like. It's very customizable, but taxpayers have access to the portals 24/7. They can file their taxes 24/7, have access to information and data, handle all of the account maintenance, and that's very, very important. The system of record, that tax history, everything is maintained, and you're not having to host it. You're not having to maintain that data. We handle that burden for you all. We do the outreach for tax changes. So if we are your administrator and you have a tax change that is going up or down, or there is a completely new tax you're looking to implement, if you'll work with us, we'll get those notifications out on your behalf. We'll use our technology to get the email notifications out, as well as doing some robocalls, just as a reminder, especially, if it's a tax change and they need to update cash registers or computer systems, things like that. We do need like at least a 60-day, 90-day lead time on that. So the live taxpayer support, we're going to provide a little bit more information on that, because I do know that is something that we do get a lot of phone calls about. People say, hey, your phone lines are busy, I can't get through, or taxpayers are calling and saying they can't get through. Well, obviously around the 20th of the month is when taxes are due each month, month in, month out. And then we have the annual business license filing renewal time period, which, the peak time starts mid-December and it goes through the end of January, a lot of times into mid-February. On those times, we do have a little longer call time. We have implemented new technology. We've invested in the best phone systems and applications, and our people are available Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Taxpayers can opt to leave a callback number, and what that means is they're there. It says, hey, we're experiencing high call volumes. If you would like, you can leave a callback number and not lose your place in line. That is technology that many taxpayers take advantage of. It works. They don't lose their place in line. What happens many, many times is people think they've left the correct number. Well, if they don't listen to the prompt, they're not entering a phone number, it kind of goes to that caller ID that called in. So for example, for me, if I call from my my desk phone here, it's going to show up on caller ID as like 1-800-556-7274. Well, if someone tries to call me back at that number, it's going to be an automated system, and that user's not going to know that it was Christy Cato that technically called. So we run into that. So we've changed some of the prompts, work to make it more clear and to give people better instructions to actually leave a phone number where we can contact them back, and then to answer the phone when they do see a phone call coming through. So that's something that we do. And also, before the end of each day, our agents stay in the phone queue to clear out those callbacks. So if they choose, they can actually absolutely get a callback within that same day. So I just really wanted to kind of touch on that. And I'm pretty sure you might have questions, and we're going to cover a little bit more later on in the presentation. Another option that taxpayers have is they can email. And so our emails, technically, they're not going to an individual person when it's a group, because obviously people go on vacation, people might be sick, whatever might be going on, and they're not actually in the office that day or that week. So if it's going to an individual, it could just sit there. So our system will ingest those emails and it puts it in to a management tool. And we currently use ServiceNow, which is, top in the industry. We've made that investment. And actually, we are moving away from email addresses in 2024 completely. And we're working toward web forms. And that will allow us to not only service your taxpayers more effectively, we'll be able to do it quicker. And we're going to learn from those inquiries. So we're going to know that if we get 10 phone calls, what those 10 phone calls were for, so that we can make investments, we can provide self-helps, knowledge bases, and tools to allow the taxpayers to get the answer they need as quickly as possible. And here we're talking about where we're going, and I'm going to let Nonzo introduce himself, but this is where we are making investments as a company. We've listened, we've heard your feedback, things that you're looking for, things that you need, things that would make your life easier, your taxpayers' life easier, and we are making steps toward making that a reality in 2024. So with that said, then I'll let Nonzo kind of go through the roadmap with you this morning.
All right, thank you, Christy. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nonso Chukwujeku. I am the product lead person for Avenues Tax and License in Permitting Technology Solutions. One of Avenues' core values is that we dedicate our time and efforts to ensure that you and your business communities are a priority in everything that we do. We listen to the everyday needs of you as a customer and your business communities, and then we ensure that we have a plan in place to meet those needs in a timely manner. We take every past experience that are both good and bad, and then we review those and then capitalize on a good experience, but also we work on improving on the bad experiences. So, how do we do this? The first thing we do is to listen to you and your business communities. We get feedback through multiple channels from you and your business communities, and then we then create a backlog of items for the different products, and then we prioritize those items bi-weekly. The goal here is to move the most valuable items to the top of the list, and once those items are prioritized, we discuss those details and the requirements and then queue those for development. And once development is done, the items are then properly tested. And if passed, they are then promoted to the different environments all the way to production. So here on the screen is a roadmap that covers a few recent updates and process improvements that we've made, also what we are currently working on, and will be delivered to your community soon. And then future items that we've planned toward the end of this year or beginning of early next year, like Christy mentioned. Next slide. All right, getting more into the details. We're going to start off by pointing out those items that were delivered recently. Um, Prior to every business license renewal season, we make a big push for taxpayers to submit their renewals electronically. While paper renewals remain an option, and due to the volume of renewals that we receive annually, it makes sense to push people to file their business license returns online. However, pushing those taxpayers online is only one part of the solution. Okay. Um, Prior to making the 2024 renewal available online, we streamlined the online registration process for new users, and we eliminated a few steps in the business license renewal process and also provided a mechanism for your businesses to submit required documents with their web applications. We also changed our credit card processor, and this is to improve the payment reconciliation and processing of those payments. Another significant update that we made is integrating our electronic filing portal with our core business licensing system. So, due to the anticipation of large web submissions, we thought it best to improve this area of our solutions with hopes to process and reconcile accounts quicker while also significantly reducing any manual reconciliation that our staff have to do. We also know that any delays in receiving applications, payments, and required documentation means a delay in the thorough review of those applications. It also means a delay in processing the application and a delay in mailing those required licenses that a business desperately need to stay compliant, and most importantly, a delay in getting to you that revenue your government needs to run efficiently and effectively. The result of those changes that we made is a 70% renewal submittal that came in electronically for 2024. That's a 75% increase from last year's 40% submittal. So this also allowed us to receive, review, and process those renewals very quickly. This year, um, processing of those electronic applications took about 1 to 2 business days, and that's a change from prior years where it took, in many cases, weeks to process. And as I mentioned earlier, a quicker receipt of the applications, payments, and required documentation translates to a much faster reconciliation, review, and processing and mailing of those business licenses and transfers of funds to you. The next item we are currently working on, and the last item on this list, is to provide you with the ability to print licenses through the Government Services Center portal that many of you have access to today. This would allow you to continue to self-service all walk-ins and will greatly reduce support calls to Avenue relating to issuance of business license certificates. Next slide. Um, Within the next few months, we will be making more updates to the software solutions that your business communities utilize today. We're going to continue to revamp the taxpayer registration and renewal workflow to ensure that this process is seamless to the users. We do have a few ideas on the solution that needs to be put in place. What we are trying to achieve here is to make the process seamless and very swift. Our goal is to reduce time to e-file while also continuing to maintain a highly secure payment experience for your users. Our target is a renewal process that is completed in under 3 minutes and a new registration process that is completed in under 7 minutes. Also, we are going to continue to automate the return processing for electronic submissions. We will achieve this by some web service integration of a few components of the system that handles processing of business license returns that are submitted online. The goal is to reduce the time it takes to process a business license return and provides enough time for staff to dedicate time reviewing certain applications that requires thorough review. While we achieved a 1 to 2 business day processing period this year, we won't just stop there. Okay, we're going to continue to push for changes that will then allow the same day processing and business license issuance to your taxpayers. That's a big feat, but it's not impossible to do. The next item on the list here is improvement on the multi-location filing experience. Some of your businesses with multiple locations like to file under a master location without really specifying exactly which location each file schedule belongs to. Um, we'll be reviewing ways to ensure that taxpayers have a more efficient way of filing their returns for each location they operate. This way, we are capturing the right information for your jurisdiction and also eliminate the need for Avenue to make that phone contact to the taxpayer to then obtain the accurate information. The next two items on this list are very important for your business communities. There's a greater value achieved by allowing businesses the ability to print their business license via the web. If there is a hold on their license, the reason for that hold and the license status will also be made available for them to see via the web without a need for them to call out customer support. Our approach will be to, if we have an email on file, provide real-time updates to the businesses once that certification is ready for them to print. Lastly, for the group of items we'll be adding in the near future, is a credit card payment option for Alabama tax filers. Currently, this option is only available in the license application system, and since we've made some changes that allow us to reconcile credit card payments efficiently, we thought it best to make this payment option available for all businesses who file their business taxes online. Next slide, please. The last slide I'm going to cover here lists out certain features and enhancements that are planned for development toward the end of this year or beginning next year. And this list will continue to grow as we push to ensure we are very efficient and that we are providing the right solutions to the end users. The first item on the list for this category will provide your taxpayers with the ability for them to pay any and all outstanding balances online. Instead of the traditional mailing of paper checks, this would allow them to kind of take care of that balance immediately through the web. They don't have to mail a check. They don't have to, even call us and make a payment over the phone. They can just log on and just make that payment. This provides for a quicker turnaround on Avenue receiving and processing those delinquent accounts. So similar to the integration enhancements we're making on the business license system, we'll be automating the business tax return processing by setting up a few API integrations that then pulls web submissions into the core administration system that we have without an Avenue staff really manually doing that work. We anticipate that this will significantly reduce return processing time, which then translates to you receiving your tax revenues quicker. The next big item that is currently in the planning phase is to improve customer support and the tools we use to ensure that we are obtaining the correct support details for each of the systems that we support. We believe that incorporating artificial intelligence in our customer support tools will make it easier and less painful in getting the help needed by you, the customer, your customer, and your business communities. We plan on providing a web form, like Christy mentioned earlier, that integrates with our phone system. And the purpose of that is to streamline that support process from the time a ticket is initiated through resolution of the issues. We anticipate improvement in response time and time to resolution. And, we should see a reduction in phone calls coming in, and we'll be able to have on hand analytics that help us continue to provide enhanced support to end users. Lastly, here is a chatbot feature that allows us to provide real-time support to your communities. This feature will have some machine learning capabilities to understand user behavior and to be able to quickly answer specific questions that your users or the system users may have. The next few months will be very exciting for your business communities, and we're glad to have you as a partner in this journey. With that, I will pass this over to Carol Thomas, who is the Director of Project Implementation, to walk us through the business license electronic filing portal.
Thank you, Nonzo. Good morning. My name is Carol Thomas. I'm the Director of Project Implementation and Business Licensing here at Avenue. I work out at the Birmingham office, and I have probably spoken to many of you on today's call. But if not, if you have any questions regarding our business license services, do not hesitate to contact any of the representatives here on today's call, including myself. I appreciate Nonzo going over the roadmap items that we have put in place for this current ongoing license year for 2024, and the items that we are working on to roll out for license year 2025. And those items that are high priority, all of those features come from feedback, whether it's from our internal employees providing support to the business community, from our clients, yourselves, and from the business community, speaking with the businesses on what would make the process easier. And then on the flip side of that, what's intimidating about filing a renewal for a business license or the application process? Our typical business license administration contract consists of an ongoing cycle for a tax administration to assist with the renewal or applications of business licenses. Our goal is to optimize the service that we provide to the business community so that it's not as intimidating. We know that businesses don't stop conducting business at 5 o'clock every day. After that sinus turnaround, especially for small business owners, they're still doing accounting work. They're still doing their clerical. They're filling orders. They're responding to emails. They're trying to do all of the things that they did not have time to do during the day while they were servicing their own customers. So adding tax filing and business license on top of that can be not something they look forward to. So our conversations internally have been really focused on how can we assist the business community to file a return easier, take the guesswork out of a lot of the requirements, and to get them in and out of an online filing portal as quickly as possible, which, as Nonzo touched on, really ultimately results in the business receiving their license quicker, their official business license, but two, the municipalities receiving the funds quicker so that you can use toward those wonderful things that you budget for. No two business license programs are created equal. Now, some states do provide a model ordinance or a set of guidelines that must be followed for the business license program. Other municipalities and states do not. The great thing about our online filing system is that it's flexible enough to support so many different kinds of programs, whether a business license program is a regulatory program. Does it require additional documentation or departmental sign-offs through the municipality? Are there regulatory boards that provide documentation that must be submitted with an application? It supports flat fee licenses, whether all of the categories are a flat fee amount of varying degrees, or it's one single category with a flat fee amount. It also goes into tier programs supporting gross receipts-based licenses, unit-based licenses. And when I talk about unit-based licenses, I'm talking about those licenses based on for categories such as based on per vehicle, per employee, the amount of square footage. So the online filing system supports all of those different kinds of calculations and little rules per se to assist the business and guide them through the filing process. When at times when you have paperwork in front of you and you're trying to fill out an application, and words get kind of chunky at times. So we have been working with our development team, that's Nonzo and his staff, to talk about how to make that process easier. And we meet regularly to talk about discussing enhancements. So one thing I wanted to talk about before we jump into actually how the online filing system works is to talk about some of the key features of the site. It supports both new and existing businesses. Most of our clients do take advantage of allowing new applications to file through the website. And that completely replaces the paper application. So back in the day, and date myself a little bit, but you would have to go into City Hall or download a form, an application, complete the application, take it to department, whether it's planning department. Some categories require the police department sign off or fire department sign off, and get all of those pieces completed. Well, now Avenue provides a way for new applicants to go online, apply for a business license, go ahead and submit the payment due, and then Avenue will process that payment, disperse the funds back to you, and at the same time initiate any holds we have in place. And we work closely with you. So if you're currently not taking advantage of allowing new applications to file online, I certainly encourage you to do that, because we'll work closely with you to find out what kind of sign-offs are needed for those applications. We can hold that application so that the license is not officially issued while we assist you with routing those applications through the proper departments for sign-off. That allows the business to go ahead and submit it. They'll automatically receive an account number from Avenue, which I'll talk about momentarily. And then the last process is that routing through departments. The online filing system auto-calculates based on your jurisdiction's requirements in file date, the delinquency date. There's reminders based on license categories. If a license category is a regulatory category, for example, alcohol-based businesses in the state of Alabama must submit an ABC board certification year after year. There's those kinds of prompts allowing them to go ahead and stop and have that document on hand. And then the online filing system allows them to upload that document to the process. Payment scheduling is available to businesses. There's also a permissions-based login. There's quick links to provide access to filing history, support frequently asked questions. And one of the greatest things about online filing, again, is that it's 24/7 access. So after closing, a business can sit down and file the return. And as Nazo mentioned, the ultimate goal for online filing is really to have a renewal business filing a single location, single business license category in and out for less than 3 minutes. Some of the 2024 features that we rolled out was to reduce the number of required fields for new users on the site. We implemented an automated process for assigning account numbers for those new businesses or first-time filers to Avenue. And then we automated systems to update any certification, those regulatory documents, statuses on after we review the document. Now, Avenue staff will review those documents and either reject or accept the document. And if we reject it, then an automatic email is sent to the business if they filed online, letting them know that their document was rejected and they need to go back out and upload a fresh document. But I do want to shift quickly to the online filing site to take you through. Okay. And before we start, I wanted to point out at the footer of each of the pages through online filing, there's links to support. There's business certificate license question support, website support as well. And Connie Taylor will be speaking with you in just a few moments about our Government Service Center portal and the reporting we provide back to you as a municipality. We also have a dedicated client support team. And I know that Christy talked to you a little bit about the email options and the toll-free support line and the callback feature that we offer to businesses. But I wanted to assure you that our contact information is on absolutely every single page through the filing process if a business runs into a problem. Most businesses that call website support really simply need technical support as far as forgot the username or there's been a change of employees within the business and they don't know what username or email address was used previously. We have a dedicated support team for that to assist. We also have links for those that forget their username or forget password here and have access to the current email. The frequently asked questions and links are here at the top. First-time users to the website, just like most websites, you do have to click sign up to create a username and password. There's an option for business accounts, which 95% of our online filers fit into this category. It's just filing on behalf of their business. They may own more than one location, but it's just the owner or the main point of contact for that business filing. We also provide a link for tax preparers and CPAs that can create a master username and password and then load all of their clients in so that when they log in, they can select the client that they need to file for. To go back to home really quick, I do have a test account that I wanted to show you the renewal process today, but quickly about the new applications. Again, first-time users or new businesses can click sign up, create the username and password they want to file, and they complete the fields that they would normally handwrite on an application, but they do it through the portal. And then they click submit, and they're able to file for their business license category and submit that application so that we can process the payment and then get those funds back to you as the municipality. But I do have a test account I'm going to go through to show you what a renewal user looks like. I've come in automatically to my home page, and there's several links here. And one of the things that Nazo touched on was our goal for 2024 was to get a business in and out as quickly as possible. We received a lot of feedback in the past about how the pages seemed quite wordy. There was a lot of duplication of entry of fields. Why do I have to enter my account information year after year if you already have it on file? We listened and we implemented a cleaner feature for 2024. And I'm proud to say that it has worked magically for our business community. And I hope that you receive some positive feedback as well. So when I go into my file application, there is a message here that lets me know that there are some sections of my corporate business information that are missing some fields. It says attention needed. I am able to file whether or not I complete it. Only a user will be flagged or stopped during the filing process if there are required fields missing. But right now I'm going to click File Application Return. And it takes me right into my return. Now, one thing I wanted to use my test account to show you that the site is multi-state, multi-jurisdictional. And again, it's because it supports all of those varying types of programs, regulatory programs, non-regulatory programs, those that have to be routed through different departments, flat fee, gross receipts, unit-based. For this example, I'm going to select Alabama. It defaults to the current licensing period. And then returning users will see their locations here. Now, if a business has a new location they need to apply for or need to add an additional location, there are links here where they can add as many locations as they need to, because most location or renewal programs are location based. So they have the ability to do that through this site. I'm going to select my first location and click Next. And I'm taken directly into the file page. Now, one of the things that we have here at the top is almost like I call it a progress bar to let you know where I am in the filing process. At the top of the page here, you can see there's a file date. Now, it will default to the current period, but one of the great things about the online filing system, it does allow users to warehouse their payment out for a later date if they're filing by an e-check through a checking or savings account. That's wonderful for those businesses that maybe have a permissions-based employee filing system where one employee can enter the gross receipts required, but another employee within the company has to submit the actual payment. They can both have usernames on the site. They can log in and submit the payment. Okay, I'm going to leave it as current date. Now for this return, we are currently in a delinquent status for Alabama returns. The site does support multi-delinquency dates as well based on business category. We know that some of our clients have a different due date for their alcohol-based licenses. So it does support those tiers as well. The first thing I'm going to select is my municipality that I need to file for. You can see they're in alphabetical order by city and town and county. There is a quick search here as well. So if I go in and select the city of Arab, click go, it will narrow down the results for me. So this was another key feature that we heard that the businesses wanted to do because they had so many returns that they had to file, especially businesses such as contractors. This simplified that process for them. So I'm going to, in this example, file for the city of Arab. I'm going to select inside city limits. We had some changes for the police jurisdiction within the state of Alabama this past year. So if a PJ or a police jurisdiction is not applicable for a city or town, it will not be available for selection for the business. So I'm going to select inside city limits. And then I'm flagged as a renewal. But if I happen to want to file as a new business or a temporary business license category, I'm asked for a start date for my business. Okay, I'm going to select renewal. And then for ARAB, the only schedules, or we refer to them as schedules, the business license categories that are listed in this dropdown belong to the city that was selected, the city or town selected. So this is custom to your municipal ordinance. In this example, I'm going to use this quick find to file or search by restaurant. And you can see all of my options that come up. And I wanted to show you this because I wanted to show you how businesses are flagged for additional documentation. I'm going to select restaurant full service, click to add my business license, and immediately I receive a notification that I need my health department permit. And during checkout, the business will have the opportunity to upload their documentation. So I'm going to click acknowledge here. And then I can go back and select as many additional schedules as I need. I'm going to select beer. I'm going to add the beer schedule to my return, but before I do, I receive another reminder letting me know that I must provide the ABC board. I'm going to click acknowledge here, and I'm able to file my return. So you can see that the beer schedule is a flat fee-based license for $75 here, but the gross receipts are required for the restaurant. And as I enter my gross receipts, the system will calculate the amount due. Okay, you can see that it refreshes with each new calculation. Okay. If this is the only city that I need to file on the return, I can simply scroll down and click next. But the user is able to file a consolidated return for the Alabama return by going in and selecting as many cities, towns, or counties that they need to select as long as they're an Avenue client, and then selecting each of the license categories and adding them to the return. This is great for those contractors that operate more than one city, or those that do deliveries that fall outside of that delivery threshold. Service-based businesses that are operating in more than one municipality. Now, if it's restaurants with brick and mortar, they must file each return separately because licenses are location-based. But in this example, the consolidated return for a service-based or a contractor type of business would be allowed to do it on this page. We also calculate the issuance fee. We've seen in the past year an increase in issuance fees for most of our clients per the state allowable adjustment. You can see that it's calculated here at the $14. If I had multiple jurisdictions on my return, each of the jurisdictions' issuance fee would be calculated here. Because my return is late, the penalties and interest are calculated for me. So this increases compliance for the business. We do offer downloadable paper applications to the business community, but we find, and I'm sure that you will agree, that there's additional follow-up needed. Most of the time, for anything that is self-calculated, there's missing documentation, gross receipts are not provided, the application is missing key pieces of information, they underpay. So online filing, because it self-calculates not only the fee, but the penalty and interest, increases compliance, and it reduces the amount of follow-up that we have to do with a business, which in the end results in them getting their license quicker. So there's some additional information listed here, but I'm going to click next. And then this is one of the key features that Nonzo was talking about that we rolled out for 2024. We were quite excited about this. It's been really successful for the business community and for the Avenue staff as well. But for those categories that I filed on my return, this is a reminder and a place for me to upload the documents needed for my license. When the documents are uploaded, they come into a queue. Into the Avenue support staff is able to view the queue, and they view each document individually. Now, some documents cover the business statewide, such as contractors board. If they're general contractors and they have a state board license, it'll cover them no matter what location typically that they operate in. Then there are some regulatory certificates that are location-based, such as ABC board, the health department. So our team is looking at those to make sure the certification provided matches back to the address of the return. And if it's acceptable, then we will mark it as accepted in our system. And one of the great things that we rolled out in addition was that once we accept it, we don't have to touch it. It comes into the Avenue system automatically, and it updates the license within our system for the user, which reduces the amount of turnaround time it takes for the business to get their license in the end. Now, a business can skip this step which I will do in my example. But if they skip the step, they can log in at any time to upload the documents. And if they fail to provide the required documents, Avenue will reach out to the business via letter and other means to remind them that they need to provide the missing documentation before their license can be issued. So I'm going to click Next here. This is just a quick review of the return information that I filed. Click Next. This is the payment gateway. We provide 2 payment methods currently, ePay from Save Checking or Savings Account, which is basically like an e-check from ACH Debit, where they have to provide the routing number and the checking account number. I will note that there is an originator ID that some businesses need to provide to their bank, and that information is provided on the website for them. A lot of businesses, when they set up a business account, will have it flagged where they must have an originator ID for any online payments. And so if they don't provide that to their bank, there's a risk for an ACH return. But the information is here for them on the site to alert them to know to provide that to the bank. We also provide a credit card option. Currently for Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. There is a 3% convenience fee for most of our credit card transactions that we pass along to the business. That is not money that comes over to the municipality, that goes to the payment processor, and the business must accept that additional convenience fee charge. There is no convenience fee for the e-check or the ACH debit. So I'm going to click Next here, and here's my summary page. Just one last review to make sure I have the right physical location that I'm filing for, and I can click Submit. And then it really can be a paperless filing experience. A lot of municipalities will accept this as the confirmation for the business to carry around with them, to take to their planning department, to pull permits, whatever they need to do. But this is a copy of the confirmation. They receive a unique confirmation number, and it has all of the cities and the schedules that they filed for on the confirmation. Now, if they lose that copy, or if they need to edit their return, as long as they filed by e-check, the filing history link is available. And I can go in at any time to unfile my return and make edits to gross receipts, unit amounts if I need to add another municipality, as long as Avenue has not reconciled that payment. And we're reconciling every day, Monday through Friday for our clients. But as long as it's still in an unreconciled status, the business can go in to make changes and then resubmit the filing. So we know that for renewals this year, we saw an incredibly increased percentage of businesses file. As Naza mentioned, over 75% of businesses utilize online filing. Again, we do provide the paper option. We have downloadable forms on our website. Many of you may have the triplicate forms available in your city or town hall that are used. But we did see with the pandemic, more and more individuals and businesses are just used to online filing, from placing orders to virtual physician appointments. And so we're seeing the comfort level increase there. But on the flip side of that, our commitment to making sure that the process is in and out quickly for the business is stronger than ever, in my opinion. And so I echo all of the things that Nazo shared with you to let you know that even for 2025, we're going to see some tremendous improvements for the business community that in result make sure that the license is in their hand quicker and the funds are to you quicker. I do encourage you to go out to bizlicenseonline.com to take a tour as a business would. Set up your username and password if you would like. Just don't submit a payment, but see what the business does experience. So with the auto calculations and such, again, it reduces the amount of follow-up. But all of this is to say that while new experiences such as online filing can be uncomfortable, we hear from businesses at the end of each year that say, I'll never file by paper again, because the filing process calculates. It is so complicated for some business categories to calculate that they love it. But if there are any questions, again, they can contact our support representatives. We'll be glad to answer those questions if they need help knowing what they filed last year. Maybe they don't have a copy of their license in front of them. We can certainly work with that. But all of this to say that we want to optimize the certificate processing time for the businesses so that you receive the funds quicker, but at the end, they're not waiting on their license. And I think that we saw that this year. Certificates are usually issued and mailed within 7 days. And again, this year we saw a quicker turnaround time for the payment processor. So we're going in a great direction. But if you have any questions about online filing, don't hesitate to let me know. So now I'm going to shift it over to Connie Taylor, who is our Client Relations Manager.
Thank you, Carol. So good morning, everyone. So I will be covering the Government Service Center portal. As I'm sure many of you are already familiar with it, but I want to cover some of our new functionality and then some of the coming soon functionality. So with the Government Service Center portal, it's available 24/7. We can set up as many accounts as you would like, as many users for your city or county. We have some clients that might have just 1 or 2. We have some that, might have 20 plus. So please know that's always an option. And also we can customize. So it's permission based. So if you have someone, say in your accounting department, and you only want them to see the reconciliation, the money's coming in to, reconcile the bank statement, we can do that versus, we can have users set up that has the full admin view. So if you would, let me share my screen, and we're going to take you to the portal. Okay, great. So you can access the portal through our Avenue website. There's a taxpayer login. There's also a client login. So when you access the client login, that will take you to the login screen. If you have any issues logging in, please reach out to our customer or client relations group. You can always click the Contact Us link here at the top right of the screen, and that will open up an email that will come into our client support group. And as Chrissy was saying earlier, that comes into a group. We have a ticketing system. That way, management has access to see those tickets, to make sure they're being worked. But you can click on that and someone will help you. Or if you just want someone to kind of walk through the reports with you, please reach out. That's what we're here for. We want to make sure you're comfortable with these. So as we disperse funds, so we're processing funds daily, we're reconciling our bank statement daily, and we're dispersing those funds back out to you. We disperse 12 to 15 times a month, and we can customize that. So if you only want to receive a transfer every Thursday, we can set that up. Or if you want one transfer or every day, we can set that up, and we can change that, quickly. If you want to add a beneficiary, add a recipient of the funds, we can do that as well. And all of that, you can email our client support group and we'll make sure you're set up for that. So I'm going to enter my password. Now, one thing I do want to show, there is a reset password option. So if you ever forget your password or you're not quite sure, you can click on this reset password. You will need to enter in your username. So you'll enter in, I have kind of a different, it's not my email address. You can enter your username in and hit change password, and that will do the password reset for you. All right, so let me get back on here. Now this is a test environment. So there's a little bit of a delay, not much. So if you see just a little bit of a lag, that's why. So at any time, if you see that your report screen looks different, if you don't have as many reports, please reach out to client support and we can kind of walk through your permissions, especially some of the clients that we've had a while. As we add newer functionality, we do email out to let clients know of the newer functionality and add those. But at any time, we can add or remove reports. So right now, we're going to cover more of the new reports. So we're going to start with pending payments. So pending payments will let you see any payments that we've received, that we've posted in our system, but they're waiting to disperse. Because we offer, ACH debit as an option and credit cards, sometimes it does take, 1 to 2 business days, especially for some of those credit card transactions to process or to fully, settle into our bank account. So we're still processing those funds and we have those available to disperse. And then once money hits our account, we're releasing that immediately. So you can at any time log in, see what payments are out there that will be coming soon. So this report, of course, will change daily. This groups by tax type. So you can expand. Of course, you can always expand all. Anytime at the top of our screen, you can see the expand all or collapse all. So if you wanted to see, okay, for consumers use, what are my payments? You can see the individual taxpayers, tax period. You can see the date we enter that into our system. And then, of course, all the tax information, the gross sales deductions, gross tax due, penalty. At the bottom of the report, it will total to let you know, okay, these are all the tax types, these are the taxpayers, and this is the amount that's out there to disperse. You can export this to a CSV, a comma delimited file, or you can export this to PDF. Next, tax delinquencies. So we've had a lot of clients request, we want our tax report, our tax delinquency report. So this is available online. You can see all of the tax delinquencies. Business license delinquencies are coming soon. So for any of our business license clients, this will be a separate tab, a separate report. So once you click on this report, you can select the run date. And like I said, this is sample data, so that's why you see older dates. You'll have the newer dates, when you log in, but you'll see each run. We run delinquencies once a month. So after we close out the month, then usually around the second or third business day of the following month, we're running this delinquency process. So this will show, the account number, account name, DBA, if we have a doing business as name. It'll show the status. So for example, this first one's under a preliminary assessment. It'll show we group delinquencies by how many days, 30, 60, 90, 120. When we say a 30-day delinquency, that's really just the prior month. So, January taxes were due February 20th. We're running our delinquency process, March 1st or 2nd. So that would be under that first grouping. We also show the total periods, the total delinquent periods, and we list out what the oldest month is. And then we list out each period. So you can see of the 6 periods, these are all the periods that are delinquent. And then we show which tax type. So, and of course, this will only pertain to the tax types that we administer. So with this report, you can export it to Excel, comma delimited file, or you can export this to a PDF. All right, next, taxpayer jurisdiction report. So this report, you can pick which tax types, and it'll provide you a listing of all the businesses for that tax type. So you can do business license. You see there's several options, and that will relate back to what we administer. And you can also check this box to only see the open accounts. You can unselect this to see closed accounts. But this will have information for the businesses, the Avenue account number, the business name, the doing business as name, address, city, state, zip, contact name, contact number, federal ID. There we go. We have some information populated. NAIC code, NAIC description. Also for our business license clients, it'll have locations. So if you might have a CVS in your city, that have multiple CVS locations, one on Main Street, and then, one on Center Street. So that'll show the location address information. And if you do select closed accounts, it'll show you the close date when we close that in our system. And of course, just like the other reports, you can export this to Excel. Payment search. If you ever want to search just by a certain payment amount, of course, there's account search where you can always search by a taxpayer or by a business. But if you wanted to just search by a certain payment amount, you can enter that payment amount in, and it will show you any business that has remitted that amount to your jurisdiction. It'll show the taxpayer account number, the name, tax type, rate code, the date that we processed it, what period they were filing for. And then if you want additional information, you can always click on this taxpayer account number, and that's going to open up the account search so you can see more information on that account. You can kind of see how that's set up in our system. From that report, you can always click back on your browser to return to that report. All right, so now we're going to get into some business license reports. So we have a business license year-over-year report. And so the year-over-year report is going to allow you to compare 2 license years. So if you want to compare the current year to last year, or if you want to compare 2024 to 2022, just to see the difference by business. So I'm going to use older dates because this is sample data. So we're going to take 2023 and compare that to 2022 license year. And so with this report, it's going to show of course, the account number, the business name. If a license is based on units, it's going to show the number of units. If it's based on gross receipts, you'll see the gross receipts, the license fee paid. You can always expand. You can expand all the taxpayers, all the businesses if you want, or if you just want to expand individual ones. This will show their schedule description that relates back to your fee schedule. So this will show that, and then it'll compare it to the prior year. So first, it shows the older year, and then it shows the newer year, and then it'll show the difference. So by business, it'll show the dollar amount, the units difference, the gross receipts difference, and then the amount that they've remitted difference. And then once again, you can export this. We have a business license category report. And the business license category report kind of came as a result of client requests. We had a lot of business license clients that said, we want to see the total amount remitted by a certain schedule or by all schedules. So this will allow you to select the license year. And you can select all if you want. I'm just going to select, let me select 2022. And you can run this based on a license status of issued, not issued, or both. And of course, a license might not be issued because it's on hold for gross receipts. Maybe gross receipts is a required field. The business did not provide those. We still process that payment, but we put that license on hold for the gross receipts, and we send out a notification to let them know. So we send out letters every time we're running disbursement. We're sending out notifications to businesses to let them know, we need your state contractor's card, or we need your health department permit. But you can run this by issued, not issued, or both. I'm going to select both. And we're going to pull this for all the annual licenses. And you can also have a start date and an end date. And since I pulled this for the 2022, I'm just going to select, let's go to January 1st. And I'm going to run this through February 28th. So this will show by your category. Let me scroll down a little bit. So it'll show by the schedule description how many remitted in. So you'll see the category count. If it's based on units, you'll see a unit count. So like for example, the sample jurisdiction, they have amusement pool tables, 7 units. You'll see the total remitted for that grouping by that schedule and gross receipts. And then, of course, you can always expand a certain grouping, or you can expand the whole report. So you can see each of the businesses that make up that grouping. And then, of course, you can export this report. All right. So now we're going to move into the account search, because we have added some functionality to the account search. Of course, first you'll notice we have expanded our search criteria. And know that you can enter in multiple search criteria. So, of course, you're not always going to know the account number, the Avenue account number, but you could enter in the name, DBA. You could also enter in an address to narrow your results. So know that the less information that you input, you're going to have more results. The more information, it's going to kind of narrow those. Also, there's some radio buttons at the bottom. So on the radio buttons, for account status, it's going to default to all, but you can run this for only open accounts. Or if you only want to run this for closed accounts, you can do that. Contact, you can pull it for all the contacts that are listed on that account, or if you just want to pull for the primary. And then address, you can run it by just the mailing address if you want to search that way, physical or all. I just always leave mine defaulted to all. So on this one, I know our account number. We're going to pull up our Avenue sample account that we have. You can click on the account number, and that'll give you a view similar to how we have our system set up. So the first screen, you'll see the business license information, federal ID, account name, DBA, doing business as, business type. We also have the mailing address. Know that anytime where you see the edit, if you want to make edits to the accounts, you can. Of course, we always ask that you double check, but if someone comes in your office and says, hey, I've noticed, our mailing address is listed as PO Box 830725, and it should be 830722. You can go in here and edit that field. And once you edit it, you'll just enter the information. You can save changes. That will write back to our system of record. And it will also enter a note on the activity log to let us know that, y'all edited that. So over here under the notes screen, you can always go in and add notes. So you'll see notes that we've added, and then you can always come in and add a note type. So, you can enter that, Connie came into the office and notified, us the mailing address was incorrect. Okay. All right. So that's on the notes. So we have an additional info screen. This is more customized based on some of our business license clients. They wanted some additional information captured. So that's what this screen is for. It's just a few clients that we have, but know that, if we do need to capture some additional information, you can reach out to client support, work with our project implementation team, to get that added. We have a contacts tab that'll list any contacts that's on the account and the contact information. Liabilities will relate back to your jurisdiction only. It'll show the tax type. It'll show the rate type. It'll show the frequency, if it's a monthly, occasional, or annual. You'll see a start date. And for any liabilities that are closed, you can see the stop date as well. Locations will relate back, of course, to business license clients. So like if you have that CVS that has multiple locations, or McDonald's that might have multiple locations in your city, the locations will list out the information for each, the address and that type. And if a location has closed or opened up, you can see start date and end date on those as well. Business license tab will show you the business licenses that have been remitted if we offer that service, or if y'all have that service with us. So under the business license tab, it'll show all the licenses that have been issued through us. It'll show the license start date, the end date. If a license is on hold, there will be a hold code on here, and there's a legend at the bottom. So you can see why that license is on hold. So if there was a 10 listed here, it would be underpaid, that they underpaid for that license. You will see the business locations that they have filed for, calculated total applied, if it's a temporary license, and you'll see the date issued and dispersed. So if it has not been issued, the issue will be blank, and you'll have a hold code listed on here. So to see additional information, you can click on that license number. And when you click on the license number, it'll show how everything was posted, even the postmark date, the start date. If there's a new business approval that's needed, it'll show that if it's been approved or not. It'll also show the schedule information, and that which ties back to your ordinance. You can click on that schedule number, and it'll show you how we've posted that into our system. And it'll show if it's based on gross receipts, number of units, issuance fee, license fee. If it's late, it'll show penalty and interest. Now, the reprint, this is where you will reprint a license. So if a business comes into your office and I've not received my business license yet, you can log on to the GSC, see if it's been issued. And if it has been issued, you can click on this reprint business license. And like I said before, this is a sample account. And normally with our sample accounts, this might pop up as Birmingham. Okay, it's ARAB. Usually we'll use ARAB. There's a couple of cities that's just kind of our go-to. So you'll see the date issued, the license number. This is the actual license. So you can print this, save it as PDF, and provide it to the business. I'm going to return the taxpayer. All right, so let's see, that was the business license tab. Business license delinquency tab will be coming soon. It's in testing, but this will list out any of the business license delinquencies on this account, and it'll show, the license year. For tax delinquencies, this will list out similar to that business license screen. It'll show the tax type, show sales tax, general rate, and it'll show what month is late, and then the days that it's late. We reviewed the notes. Taxpayer documents is if any time, say we have a license that's on hold for a contractor's license, and the business comes into City Hall, they provide you a copy of that. You can scan that in, and you can actually upload that. You can click on Add New Document. And then you can add, okay, good, making sure the pop-up come up. And then you can enter a description if you want. You can enter in comments, and you can actually add that document to that account. And then the payment history shows all the payments that have been made. And this, of course, this will only relate back to your jurisdiction. But you'll see the tax type, the rate code, the period, what day we posted it, or the postmark date. You'll see the transfer date, the check amount, gross sales deductions, the taxable base, discount penalty, and all that information. And you can export this. So you can export this to Excel, you can export it to a PDF or a comma delimited file. So let's go back to the account search. You are also able to post a license or post a tax. So we'll start with posting a tax. Now this will come over into our system as a direct payment. So you, of course, can deposit funds, and then you can post a payment, and then that will come back. And then on your detailed payment listing, it'll be referenced in that direct pay section. So you can pick and choose tax types. Of course, these, the drop down will relate back to the taxes that we administer. So we're going to select, actually, before we do that, you're able to enter a postmark date as well as a filing period. So if they have filed late, so let's enter January 2024, we're going to keep the postmark date of today. And if you don't enter stuff that you enter right, it will let you know. Well, I think I entered in one too many zeros. So this will let you know that it's a non-current filing period. So it'll let you know that it's late. You can also select a payment type. You can keep that for your records if you want, if they've, paid by credit card, check, or cash. So then you can go in and pick your tax type. We're going to select just sales tax general. You can enter in the gross sales, if there's any deductions, and then it'll base the taxable sales based on those. It'll show your tax rate, show the gross tax due. There's not a discount allowed because it's late. It will add penalties and interest. It'll also let you know the interest starting date and the end date. And you can either hit accept and add a next payment if you need to reset it, or if you want to upload a document. So we'll do accept and add next payment. So we've reviewed it. This is correct. So we're going to submit it. And you can print this to provide to the business if they'd like a receipt. We also suggest maybe printing this so you'll have this for your backup, especially if you've received funds. So I'm going to hit return. All right, so we're done adding our payment. So now we're going to go back and add a license payment. So we're going to use our same account. So once again, you can enter in the postmark date. You can enter in the license year that they're paying for. You can enter in your payment type. Oh, yes, I will. I'm going to finish doing this and I'll show you how to reprint. I see the question. So on here, we're going to say that we are outside city limits. And you'll see there's multiple locations listed. So we're going to select a location. I'm just going to select this top location. If a business has a new location, you can always hit the add location button and you'll be able to add another location for this business. We're going to hit add. So this will open up and this will match back to your ordinance and your fee schedule. You can, there's a lot of information, so you can always just click if you just want to search. So I'm going to search by accountant. This will show any matches. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to hit add schedule once I've selected it. So now this will open up, and the accountant CPA is based on gross receipts. So I'm going to enter in gross receipts. If it's based on number of units, then that field would open up. So it'll show the license fee. It's showing the penalty and interest because I'm filing this late. So I'm going to hit add. So now you'll see down here, there's a confirmation that prints. And let me make sure I have my dollar amount because I'm going to have to enter the total in again just to confirm. And I'm going to hit submit. And it's having me verify the amount that business remitted. So we're going to do $276.14. We're going to hit continue. So now it's going to ask you, do you want to print the license? So if you receive a payment there, you can actually enter this into the GSC, and then you can print a license. I'm going to hit yes. So now it's just having you attest that, you've entered this in, to the best of your knowledge, it's, in compliance with all departments. So I'm going to select yes. And if you select no for whatever reason, you can still print a receipt, just a general receipt. So this will actually be their license. And then you can print this, once you print it, if you want to export it to a PDF, you can do that as well. All right, so I've submitted my payment. I'm finished with that. So let me go back real quick to the account search. And we're going to show again how to reprint a license that's already been issued by Avenue. So you will go under the account number. So once you click on the account number, you will go to the business license tab. And then on the business license tab, you can select which license year. So let's see, we'll pull up their 2023. And you can, right here at the bottom right, you have reprint business license and cancel as two of your options. So we're going to hit reprint business license. And then that will actually pull that up. And then you can print it or save it. All right. So once you post a payment in the GSC, you'll need to reconcile it. So you'll have two. If we administer both taxes and business license, you'll have two tabs. If we only administer business license for you, then you'll just see the one. But you can go under the business license. And so the payment I just posted was this $276. You can always, I lost my train of thought. Anytime if you have questions on this or you kind of want someone to walk through the process with you, please reach out, to the client support group, and anyone on our team, will be able to walk you through this. That's no problem, especially the first one. After the first one, it's pretty easy. So from the reconciliation tab, you will select what you've just posted and you'll click on reconcile selected. You can also reprint this again. So if you forget to print it while you've posted it, you can reprint it from this screen, or you can reprint a receipt if you want. So we're going to hit reconcile selected, and then that will show you any items that you've posted and then that you've reconciled. City of Leeds does not have the option to print a license. So right now, this is in QA, very, very, very soon to be pushed to production. There's a few little tweaks that we're working out. So, but once we do release this, there will be an email blast, and we'll definitely let everyone know. So you can either print your reconciliation or you can hit return. And then we pull in everything that's posted on the GSC. We pull that in every morning. So we're pulling that in and we're dispersing those funds in our system. All right. So next, I think that is all for my demonstration. I'm going to turn this over to Leslie Payne. She's one of our senior audit managers.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Leslie Payne, and I'm the senior audit manager for the audit department. And I'm going to cover some highlights of what we do in the audit department for you. So the first topic is, what tax types do we audit for? So the audit department can audit for any tax types that a jurisdiction administers, from business license, sales and use tax, rental tax, lodgings, tobacco, motor fuels, alcohol, occupational, franchise fee, and just gross receipts tax. So the qualifications of an Avenue auditor are that we have to have a bachelor's degree in accounting. We also have to have a certified revenue examiner certification. That is a 2-year program with 4 tests. It's required by the Alabama legislature, and we're governed by the ALTIS board, which the classes are conducted by Auburn University. We also have to have 40 hours of continuing education every year, including ethics, customer service, legislative updates, and special topic training. So let me talk about the audit process a little bit. The goals of auditing for the jurisdictions is we're trying to educate the taxpayers. First and foremost, we want them to understand what they owe, why they owe it, how the system works, and what the laws are. And then we're also trying to ensure compliance and make sure that everyone is doing the same thing and remitting correctly, and that all of the businesses are doing the same thing. So we're trying to even the playing field and ensure that. So there's two different kinds of audit that we can do. One is an in-house review, and the other is a field audit. So an in-house review is where we review the taxpayer's account internally, and we notice that they're missing payments or that there's any lower than normal payments. And then we can create an assessment and try to collect the money that way. A field audit is where the auditor actually goes out to the business and reviews the records in person or electronically, and that results in an audit report. So the Avenue field audit process. So we start with an audit lead. It can be random selection, or it can be a client request. And for a client request, we have a jurisdiction request form that you can fill out and send it to anyone in the audit department, me, or your client services manager, either one, and we'll get that and get it scheduled. We then research and schedule the audit. So we research the audit lead, we contact the taxpayer to schedule the audit, and we assign it to an auditor. The next step is that we begin field work. So again, we do that on site or electronically. We analyze their tax issues and we prepare the audit report and the schedules. Then we have their supervisor review the audit, and then a manager reviews the audit to, just to make sure that everything put a second set of eyes on it. We then transmit it to our audit administration department to mail the audit report and the findings to the taxpayer. The in-house review process is, based on the recommendation from the audit from the client compliance department for taxpayers that are delinquent over 120 days. An assessment is created internally. An audit clerk researches that account and the missed payments and creates an assessment of just the missed payments. So only those periods. Not a 3-year period like a field audit. It's just the periods that they've missed a payment. And then they mail out a notice to the taxpayer. The audit clerk tries to reach out to the taxpayer after mailing of that assessment, try to collect the payment, or they try to collect additional information. So the taxpayer may say, well, I remitted that, but it's under a different account number or something like that. And then the clerk is going to reconcile that and either close it or, review those additional documents and change the assessment. If we can't get in touch with the taxpayer, then we will do a final assessment. And a final assessment is created if they don't provide any records to prove, that they don't owe the money or that they haven't paid it. The last option is to use liens or third-party collections. That's the last resort to try to collect the money if we can't get them to cooperate or work with us. So I want to cover the collections process for a field audit. So after the audit report is mailed, the taxpayer has 30 days to provide the payment. If we receive the payment, great. We receive it, we process it, and disperse it to the jurisdiction. But if we don't receive the payment after 30 days, then the audit clerk will start calling the taxpayer and trying to get in contact with them. If they don't get in contact with them or don't get a return call, then we can issue a preliminary assessment. 30 days after the preliminary assessment, if we still haven't heard from them, we can issue a final assessment. We do need the approval of the jurisdiction, all jurisdictions involved. Most of the audits that we do are multi-jurisdictional, so we can't issue a final assessment until every jurisdiction that's involved has approved or denied the final assessment. And after the final assessment and we still don't have any cooperation, then we can file liens or use third-party collections. But we do have that capability. So in the audit department, I want to explain a little bit about what we do. So we audit taxpayers on behalf of the cities and counties. We evaluate refunds over $5,000. We issue uncooperative letters. We issue subpoenas with the approval of the jurisdiction. We issue preliminary assessments. We can issue final assessments with the approval of the jurisdiction. We can issue liens, and we can file bankruptcy documents. So if a taxpayer has gone into bankruptcy, we can file a jeopardy assessment to get to try to help make sure that you get your money through that process. So Connie has gone over the GSE portal, but I wanted to point out a couple of things for the audit department that I've had questions about over the years. So sometimes you're going to get a request for approval of a final assessment, and that's going to be an email that looks similar to this. And this is when we're in the final assessment process and all the jurisdictions have to approve it or deny it. So when you get an email like this, it is very important, and it means that the audit's finished. We've already completed the audit. We're ready. We've already done the preliminary assessment. We've tried to contact them, and we're ready to do a final assessment. So the blue login that's highlighted on the screen, that's going to be in your email. If you click on that, it is going to take you to the next screen, and that's the Government Services Center portal for the audit. So that is going to take you to the audit approval page. And under the drop-down menu right there on the left, it says no action. You will hit the drop-down button, and it will give you the option to approve or deny. And if you approve it, then you're going to hit submit your signature, and it's going to approve it, and we're going to move on and keep collecting that money. If you deny it, that's okay. You can deny it, and we're still going to collect it, but we can't move on until everyone has done that. So you may get a call from Miss Sherry Dale explaining to you that this is out here and helping you walk through this process if you're not familiar with it. I do want to point out that over here on the right side where it says total, this is your total for your jurisdiction, but it is not the total of the assessment. It's just going to show you your information. So while this one right here is just an example, it might be $145. Again, that audit is complete. We're done with it. It's your money. You just hit accept or approve, and we're going to continue trying to get that for you. But this could be thousands of dollars of an audit assessment. It's like if it's multi-jurisdictional, we're not going to have $145 audit out there. But this is just one portion. So just as a reminder of that, it's not $145 total. There's a lot more money out there involved with that. Okay. The next page is the audit performance and progress report. So when you come to this page in the Government Services portal, on the right-hand side under audit reports, you've got three options: the audit activity report, the audit performance and progress report, and the audit performance dashboard report. So the dashboard is just a one-page flash summarizing the activity. To get the most information, I would pull the audit performance and progress report. That's going to give you a lot more information. So that's the one I'm going to go through with you, highlight. And if you want to go through it specifically, I'll be glad to do that on a one-on-one basis and walk you through your particular taxpayers. So you're going to go to the Audit Performance and Progress Report here, and it's going to pull up this page. And you are going to choose the month and year for the period you want to see. The status box, I would recommend leaving all of those marked because that's going to give you everything from resolved to assessment to collections to in progress. The reason for this, and I recommend running the report for 3 years. So normally our contracts are 3 years. Some audits are small and they may take a year or less, but we have a lot of very large audits that can take 2 to 3 years sometimes. And so if you run it for a small period of time, you're not going to see a true picture of what we in the audit department have done for you. I would recommend it, a 2 or 3 year period, just to try to capture all of the, because as we bill monthly as we do the audit, but the money is going to come at the end of that. So to get a true picture, you're going to want to capture all a long range of time to give you a true picture of what that return on your investment really looks like. And like I said, I'll be glad to go through any of those on a case-by-case basis. On the next screen, these are the categories that are going to show up on that report. You're going to have a portion of that report for audits resolved. And that means that the period that you selected, it's going to show the audits that were resolved during that period. It's going to show the amount we collected. It could be zero, or it could be your portion. And then it's going to have total project fees. The total project fees that it shows is not what was billed during that time period. It is what's billed for that entire audit that shows resolved in that section. So it is a cumulative total over however long the audit's been open. The adjustments section it could change depending on if we had to do an estimated audit because the taxpayer didn't cooperate, then we're going to enter that as a preliminary assessment. And if the taxpayer files a petition for review, and they say, oh, wait, I've got this information, then the auditor is going to go back and we'll put that audit on hold. It'll stay in preliminary assessment and we'll review those documents. So if we review the documents and it's all accurate, they paid it, they just weren't cooperative to begin with, then that is going to turn into a no findings audit or a reduced amount audit. So that's or if we waive some penalties, with your approval. So that could be what is different in the adjustments. There's another section for audits and assessment preparation or collections. And this means that the auditor has finished the audit and the clerks are trying to collect on it. The collections are not final in this portion of the report. They are partial payments. If it shows any payments over there, it'll be partial payments. So we offer payment plans. So they could be on a payment plan. They could be, sending payments as they can. It just depends. So that doesn't mean that those are closed at all. It just means that we're working on collecting those. There's also a section for audits in progress. That means that the auditor has not finished reviewing the records and there will be no collections amount out there to show you. It will not even have a column for that. It just means that we're working the audit. And then we also have a section for refund petition. So if you have a refund petition ongoing, then it's going to show up there. So if they're open, they're going to show up there and it's going to show the amount requested for your jurisdiction. It's not a total. it doesn't include other jurisdictions. So but that's how much they've requested back from your jurisdiction. And refund reduced is another category there. And if we deny the refund or a part of it, then that's going to show up in that category, in that field. I do want to let you know that we are working to enhance this report. So especially in our collections category, we'd like to have different categories for, what audits have a lien placed against them, what audits are at third party collections, what audits are in preliminary assessment and then final assessment. So we are working with Nonzo to add those in, so they will be forthcoming. That's been a big request that I've heard. On the next slide, it's going to show our client advocate team. So Ms. Sherry Dale is who many of you talk to, and she is in the Birmingham office, and she handles any kind of inquiry from running reports to getting you to the right person. She's just a great resource to have. And Miss Kawana Tony, she is out visiting clients from Montgomery South. So some of you may see her. And then Miss Jackie Finkley is in the Birmingham area, and she visits in that area. I also have another audit manager who visits, Miss Katie Gardner Ballou. So you might see her out and about as well. And I'm always available. You can call my cell phone number. I've spoken to many of you or communicated with email with you, but I'm always available. You can call me, you can email me, and I'll be glad to help at any time. So before we move to the next section, we're going to open it up to any questions that you may have for Connie, Carol, Nonzo, Christy, or myself. So if you have any questions so far, that this is a good time to do that.
Yeah, so I saw one question from the city of Leeds, and I believe that Connie may have addressed that. The feature that we had for the printing of the business license, that is actually in testing. It's going to be available very soon. We're hoping, before the end of Q1 or sooner, that will be rolled out to production, and we will reach out to you immediately. We'll go ahead and put you in queue to reach out to let you know when we activate that, for you guys. Any other questions? I mean, we're here. Any questions that you might have about any parts of the demo, the roadmap items that we brought up, or any suggestions you might have for us to do? That most of these ideas come from you guys. It comes from feedback that we hear from you. So please share. Okay, Allie, it seems like we must have did a great job of going through these overviews. We'll give everybody just a few more minutes just in case they're having to catch up and type in their questions. And if you're not comfortable asking in the group, you can always email us and we can follow up post-meeting. Okay, I think we're safe to move on, I believe, Allie. And I think we'll hand it over to Kevin. If you haven't met Kevin, he'll do a brief intro. He is out and about in the field. A lot of your field, he is your field representative. So you may have already met Kevin.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin McDonough, Client Success Manager with Avenue Insights. And we're honored that you joined us today, and I'm really excited to present our very popular Avenue Payment Solution. Now more than ever, we're all being asked to do more with less. And with this, we're constantly challenging ourselves and our team to find ways to simplify our daily workflows and improve processes. And we also want to make serving our citizens easier, faster, and securely. And we do this with our Avenue Payments solution. Avenue Payments gives you the ability to accept any type of credit card or ACH payment. It offers your citizens the ability to make payments to you from the convenience of their home, their phone, anytime and anywhere. And once the payment is made, you're able to easily interact with each payment, quickly process and perform refunds, create or edit revenue sources, and literally with just a few clicks, generate detailed payment reporting for your team or leadership. So now the numbers: over 5 million in total payments revenue and over 961 total merchants, more than 140 million in annual payments volume, and more than 26 years serving our customers through payment services. And with an impressive 97% retention rate and 111 net dollar retention rate, we really hope that you join us in growing these numbers together. Next slide, please. So the driving factor is the exponential increase in demand and usage of electronic payments. And one of the biggest focuses today is implementing credit card acceptance. The goal being to improve both customer convenience and reduce admin costs. And additionally, by making available innovative technologies such as mobile and online payments, we really help streamline revenue collection and enhance security. And another driving factor for this demand is certainly budget constraints. Governments and jurisdictions struggling to invest in the latest technologies. And this is an ongoing and challenging task. And furthermore, with COVID types of scenarios, public health, and any number of environmental impacts, these have accelerated the demand for electronic payment solutions. And the takeaway that many jurisdictions continue to struggle to make available modern technologies and provide payment solutions, and importantly, doing this without increasing taxes or additional costs to the citizens. And Avenue Payments helps you do just that. Next slide, please. So payments. Avenue delivers a unified platform giving you a seamless workflow and automated tools to handle even the most complex payment challenges. With Avenue Payments, you're able to accept all major credit cards, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, and American Express, and these transactions settle to your bank account the next day. Standardization, keeping consistent rates to citizens across the entire jurisdiction. You have one simple and easy to use payment platform to learn and become comfortable with. Reconciliation, single batch deposit, single portal for training, and yes, a single vendor to contact for support. Citizen engagement, you'll really appreciate the very modern look and feel of the self-service payment portal to access and manage a multitude of digital services and payment needs. And furthermore, public safety, Avenue Payments enables municipalities to create, process, and collect payments for fire inspections and even permits and more. And now I'll show you a quick demo of our Avenue Payments portal, both from the citizen and jurisdiction perspectives. And we'll go over a couple of highlights, and I'll share my screen now. So creating, in what we're looking at here, this is the citizen portal dashboard. And creating an account takes about a minute, super easy. And the services here on the left, we can see the example payment options that you, the jurisdiction, choose to make available to your citizens for online payments. Over here shows my activities. And here you can see recent activity transactions, and this is very helpful in a quick, useful visual. Citizens also have the ability to schedule payments and even add motor vehicle, water bill, or property taxes if made available. you can easily see when payments or renewals are due. And right up here, shopping cart. I wanted to show you just how easy it is from the citizen perspective to make a payment. So in this case, we've got a test environment that I wanted to make a payment on my dog or cat registration. So just clicking into it. And here, just simply enter a pet's name. And in this case, I'm going to select my pet requires a vaccination. Right here showing the amount, the fee that the citizen is going to pay to Avenue, and the payment amount here. It allows the citizen to enter any notes here. And I'm going to add that to my cart. And here before checkout, it's just recapping everything that we've just entered. We've got the total here. We've got the $1.75 fees to Avenue, and the grand total or subtotal here. And then I've got the option to select how I want this to be paid from either my checking account or from my credit card. So in this case, I'll select my checking account and click continue. And right here, it's going to take me to verify and pay. I'm going to make sure that these totals are correct. I'm going to select this. And if I want to stay updated with any details, I'll simply click pay. And we'll wait for the transaction to process. And just that fast, we made a payment to the jurisdiction. And now, since we've made that payment, I'm going to jump over to what the jurisdiction is seeing, the jurisdiction portal, and show you a quick demo of this. So a couple of quick things I wanted to point out is the cashiering option. So if you choose, you can have in-house processing, foot traffic coming in to actually make payments as well. So in this case, I've already got a couple things that I've loaded in the background, and we'll do a water bill cashiering option. And I'm going to select water bill, and if there's a reference number, we can just enter it here. Whatever amount we need to pay towards this, first and last name, and enter any appropriate account number here, if applicable. In this case, I'm going to also select, I'm starting a new service. And why not? How about install a water filtration system as well? So I'm going to add these to the cart. And I'm seeing here that this is the total. And we'll just figure that this individual is paying, in this case, for cash, or paying by cash. We're going to verify the numbers, and then, of course, count all the cash, collect the payment, and we'll enter the name if needed. And we're going to verify the amount of cash received. And we're going to confirm payment. Payment was successful. So what we want to do from here is we want to jump over to the transaction manager and be able to interact with these payments that just came through. So right here, we're going to select transaction manager. And your transaction manager offers a really easy means to view pending, processed, or voided transactions. Sending confirmations, viewing documents, you can make edits and even reverse transactions with just a few clicks. And by doing this, let's jump over to the most recent transactions that just came through. If you recall, this is the one that we did our dog, and this one was the one that came through with the water bill. So just super easy. If you want to be able to interact with these any of these transactions, just simply click the three dots on the right here, and you have the option to view details, view documents, send email confirmations, edit in reverse, or reverse the entire transaction. So super easy, nothing hard to learn, and very, very intuitive. So moving on, one other thing that I really like to show you is revenue sources, just to show you how easy it is to add a new revenue source just within seconds, or certainly a few minutes. So we're in the revenue sources page here, and these are revenue sources that we've already created. But let's just say we want to add a new revenue source, or bring in one that we've disabled. So in this case, a country festival that's time in the spring or fall that we want to either implement or we want to disable, depending on the time of the year. So let's what we're going to do is come over here. We're going to create a new source, and this will be your jurisdiction here to select. And let's just let's select into this. You've got the ability to choose any number of different preloaded icons, which is pretty darn cool. We'll just say we'll call this one Arts Festival, and it automatically adjusts the caps for you. So we're going to hit OK, and here we can do the same thing. We can describe what we're doing and make payment towards Art Festival. We're going to click Save here. And now, if you notice, there's that a quick pop-up here of this these three dots. So to interact with this, what we need to do from here is to edit the source, and it's going to take us to the overview, transaction code, and settings screen. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to interact with the transaction code and create a new code. And we want to change this to active. And we're going to label this Arts Festival. And in this case, we're going to change our quantity to whatever it needs to be. We'll change it to 50. And for this, we're going to make this charge $9.95. And just a quick point out here, you have the ability to enter drop down check boxes, numbers, text boxes, if you really want to be extra detailed with how this is viewed, and give the constituents other options to select if needed. So we're going to go ahead and click Save here. And the last thing I want to do is, since we want this to be made available to the citizens for them to make payments online, we want to make sure that this is selected to EB2Gov. In this case, it defaulted. And here we can allow folks to upload files if needed. So we'll go ahead and select that. Click Save again. Now, one more step that we need to do is we need to jump back over to our revenue sources. And we need to lastly activate this source. We want to click Save. And I'm going to jump over to our citizen dashboard just to verify. And just like that, in a couple of minutes, we've now created a new revenue source and made that available for our citizens just that fast. So really, really super cool. And it just gives you the ability to run faster and really improve services to your constituents. So in closing, Avenue Payments is completely configurable and integrates with most software applications. Avenue Payments helps you do more easier, faster, and securely. Absolutely budget friendly. This is zero cost to implement, and no monthly fees. You're up and running, accepting payments fast and easy. So thank you so much for your time. I'll turn this back over to Christy Cato.
Hey guys, again, thank you, Kevin. Great information. Matter of fact, I live in a very small rural community, and just to pay our water bill, they don't have like the kiosk or things like that. So just for a citizen to have that as an option, and it's no cost to the city, is huge. So just think about areas where you are taking in payments, areas that you may not even think about. Think about if the city manages a ballpark and you have a concession stand. I know there's one concession stand that I probably spend a pretty significant amount of money with, and I'm pretty sure it's like somebody with their phone and they have a personal PayPal, and they've done it just to facilitate it to taking the payments. But with this solution, you could actually utilize payments and have it more secure. And just a higher level of accountability. So just excited to bring that service to you guys. We're going to kind of wrap up for today. If you have any questions or anything following this webinar, please reach out to us directly. We're here for you. We can set up other sessions for you or your staff as far as training. I know that we mentioned earlier that one feature that I know everyone is excited to have, and you're ready for us to turn it on and go live, is the ability to print the license on site. And like I said, we're weeks away from that. It's not months away. So just as soon as that is activated, we will definitely get you the notification if you let us know that you want to know immediately, and we'll put you to the first of the line. So with that, have a good rest of your day, and we look forward to hearing back from you.